I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. I said, hey, hey, welcome to the Man Cave Happy Hour. We're gonna drink a fine whiskey and smoke a really fine cigar.
It is time for Happy Hour. It is the Man Cave Happy Hour. Whiskey, cigars, spirits, the stories that go along with it. I am Jamie Flanagan.
I am Matt Fox.
I'm still August Gitschlag.
Hey,
what's up?
It's El Presidente Day.
It is.
It's President's Day.
It's a good day off for me, you know,
It
as
is.
a public
Yep.
official.
Yeah,
Small
I know.
town in America, you get that extra day
You
off.
government
I know.
employees.
I know.
It's they made it our winter break for teaching high school, so we got 2 days off. But people listen whenever, wherever, however. But we're just kind of saluting our presidents. We figured it's a fun reason to do that, and then just it's like President's Day. Let's
This is one of the better ideas you've
talk
had, Jamie.
about.
Yeah.
In
Just one of them.
the
Just one
words
them,
of
yeah.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt, let's have another drink.
Well, here it kind of broke down like
That's
this.
like New
Well,
York.
if I was
Dolls,
married to
if I'm
Eleanor
New York
Roosevelt,
Dolls.
I'd be drinking a lot too.
I was
plan-
gonna get that clip.
The planning was, hey, last week we got a message. Hey, we're doing a man cave on Monday on President's Day. Pick a president and
Pick-
what they drank.
Pick a
That was
president.
the planning for this evening.
That was the planning. I had so many other plans, and they just didn't come together. But we got a lot of people that tune into the Man Cave and like the Man Cave, and they're like, "Dude, we should drink with you." And George always says that with us today is George Munger. George, welcome to the Man Cave.
Thank you very much. Pleasure
Welcome.
to be here. And yes, I've asked a couple times. So but it's also busy schedules and never can make it. But
I know.
I'm happy to be here today.
I know. Before it's wedding or bridal Christmas is winding down a little bit, and the wedding season hasn't kicked off.
Not just yet.
Colleen used to do David's Bridal, and it was like, and for us, January, February are nuts for booking gigs. And so
Right.
George, I've known George for 30 years, right?
It's gotta be,
I started DJing in '89 and started getting involved with the Michigan stuff
I'm
early
actually
'90s.
around 91. I
Yeah.
think it was around 90, 91.
And then
yeah.
and then you and Dan Detloff do Elite Wedding Co.
Yep.
The Elite Wedding Company.
Yep.
And DJs and everything else possible wedding. And you guys book me now, and it's
Yeah.
so I appreciate that. That's you guys
You're a
keep
great
me
asset.
keep me as busy as I want to be.
He is an ass.
I'm all
Yeah.
set.
And I can't even tell you how long I've
tossed
known
that
George.
one-
I couldn't
I
put
tossed that
back
up.
to where we crossed
And that's
paths.
funny.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
been
small
way
world
back.
stuff.
Well, it's always been like with working in the city with
The St. Clair Shores stuff.
elections and
Yeah.
all the St. Clair Shores stuff. And
Yeah.
I used to work on campaigns back in 87.
Hmm.
Yeah, I probably started with that in like 92, 93. And
Yeah.
then in
George,
college,
just point
so,
that up at
yeah.
yourself a little bit more.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
I'm
You're good.
looking over.
So
at
we go
him
back
as
to
I
the
talk.
No, you're good.
All good in the hood. But so yeah, we want to talk about presidents and all the things the president's drinks. And I was putting together a script for today. I was doing research and I was putting together a script. But then there's this other new thing.
What's that?
There's the chat that is all the AI stuff. And there's
boy.
Chat GPT or whatever the heck
Yep.
it is, right? And so I go to Chat GPT and I'm like, oh, I wonder what it'll do. And I said, I typed in, write an article about everything each U.S. president drinks. And it printed, it created this article. It's fun to watch it go. And the article's like, not bad.
Well,
I'm going to post it with this show.
Wow.
But it's a nice little lead in it. Cocktails have been a staple of American culture for centuries. It's no surprise that many U.S. presidents have their favorite drink.
Right.
From George Washington to Joe Biden, every president has a unique palate and preference for their cocktails. Here's a look at some of the favorite cocktails of past U.S. presidents. That's a snappy little lead.
that is a snappy lead.
And then
and an AI wrote that.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the prompt was just, I write an article about the things. And so it kicks off with George Washington.
Mhm.
And this is actually George Washington is what kind of got me on this kick about doing this. I adjust the dollop. I love the dollop.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoy listening to the dollop.
And there's George Washington's slave. Most of our founding fathers, people are like, oh, our founding fathers, they were holy wise men and ancient seers. They
This-
must have been dropped off by aliens because they were so smart and they did it so right. They were freaking monsters.
The stubbornness of George Washington and his first slave.
Oh my
my
God.
God. It was
It's
crazy.
Ava. Is it no Anna Justice?
Something that
Justice. Last name was Justice, and she ran away. Actually, she was Martha's slave.
Yes.
And she was like she was biracial. George likes him that way. He likes the biracial ones. He's a monster. I'm telling you,
Didn't
it's
he
like
have
it's
like
awful.
17 slaves before he was 18 years old?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
But Martha had a
had
lot.
all of the rest of them.
Yeah, Martha had like 200 slaves.
wow.
But here's one of the monstrous things they did, because when he became president, there was a capital in New York and a capital in Pennsylvania, in Philly. And Martha didn't like New York, so they would go to Philly. But Pennsylvania was a very progressive state, and they were very much against slavery. So they had
Quakers.
there was a law in the
Yeah.
books that if a slave was in Pennsylvania for more than 6 months, they could be freed. And so the Washingtons found out about that. And so it was 5 months and 2 weeks, and they'd send them back to Mount Vernon and bring another group up to work. And they did that for like 8 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And the slaves, and there were a lot of freed slaves and free African Americans in Pennsylvania at the time. And so they're talking to Washington slaves, and they're like, this is awful, and it's like they're like, yeah, we're gonna get out and we're gonna be freed, and it's like, nope, you're going back to Vernon. But he was really nice. George was very, very nice. He liked to keep the families together. But if you're interested, the story is just astounding about how maniacal. Would that be a good?
Yeah, maniacal is a good
maniac-
word for how they held themselves.
And
if you will.
and how the laws he was breaking to get the slave back. It was just unbelievable what George Washington did. But I was thinking about
it was
what
like
was his
inside-
drink? Cider or mulled wine or something like that?
Well, no, but he had a distillery at Mount Vernon. He
He actually sold whiskey.
he sold whiskey and then passed
then-
the taxes on whiskey. He was like at the time he was like the richest man in America.
Uh-huh.
And so and he's like, well, I can take the hit. And so he passed these and caused the whole whiskey
The
rebellion.
liquor tax.
Yeah, it was the whole whiskey rebellion. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, George Washington whiskey, because he made it, and that's got me going with the Mount Vernon, because Mount Vernon is a distilling again. And I was going to try to I'm like, all right, so President's Day, the first president, let's get some Mount Vernon, but it's only sold
In Mount Vernon.
at Mount Vernon. Yeah. So
it's
and
only
they're
a 10-hour
expensive.
drive.
Yeah, and expensive. It's like the cheapest one is $99 up
Yeah.
to $200. And I'm like,
Not necessary for our gimmicky podcast tonight.
I'm not gonna try.
Gimmicky.
I'm not gonna
Alright,
try to
yeah.
drizzly that
Do they have
bad
any
boy.
bottles that he distilled?
Oh my God, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Leaded glass.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh crap. Yeah, that's the other one I got. I got a Jefferson in there. Jackson, Old Hickory.
Imagine.
Nah.
So Wayne Smith checked in. He said, "Imagine what happens if they try to tax our whiskey," which is
Yeah.
a throwback to Hamilton,
Right.
right? So
Oh my God. So with George Washington, this is out of the AI article that ChatGPT created for me. Washington's Cherry Bounce. He's the first president of the United States, was known for enjoying a drink called the Cherry Bounce. It was made from infusing brandy with cherries, sugar, and spices, and then aging for several months.
Actually, sounds lovely.
I actually have a friend that does that.
Yeah.
And she gives it to me in the jars, the canning jars,
I was going to say, in a syringe.
Oh, the old
or-
moonshine style.
Yeah.
little moonshine style. But yeah, that I've had Cherry Bounce. It's actually wonderful.
Yeah. And then most of the lists that we found said that Abraham Lincoln drank water more than he did not.
Right. He didn't imbibe.
didn't. But this article found that the 16th president of the United States enjoyed Applejack. It was a type of brandy made from apples, popular in the 19th century and used as currency in rural areas. So, I don't know how true it is. There you go. Did we do Roosevelt? So we picked our presidents. I'm doing an overview of like all
Sure.
of them. Matt, who did you pick?
Well, I actually have JFK,
Oh, okay.
but I would love for August to start.
Yeah. I'm just figuring out. And who do you have, Augie?
So I wanted to find a president who had a cocktail named after him. And I did. William McKinley,
Mm.
a man who was killed by a Detroiter,
Really?
assassinated in office by a Polish. He was born in Detroit, a Polish guy from immigrant's family,
Nice.
and went to Buffalo and shot him twice.
That's
He's
not
an anarchist.
that's not nice. But,
Yeah, and
interesting.
actually,
Let's go with
I
interesting.
was hoping that it would be my favorite president. I'm very politically active. Everyone knows that. I've always had one picture of a president on my wall, and no one could ever guess it. It's Teddy Roosevelt. He's always my favorite president.
Really?
He became president when McKinley was killed. So McKinley was the 25th president. He had a drink for him at the Waldorf Astoria in New York, and it's called McKinley's Delight. So I ran around. I had today off for President's Day, and I spent my President's Day buying booze to drink in honor of William McKinley. So I got 4 of them here. It's straight rye whiskey. It's sort of like a dark Manhattan, except it doesn't have bitters. It uses absinthe instead.
Do you got the
Absinthe.
You got the absinthe.
Yes. So it's got it's rye whiskey, sweet vermouth, cherry liqueur, McGillicuddy's, of course. That's what I could find.
Okay.
And some absinthe, and then I put a couple cherries in there, shook it up, and it's served up. It's not served on the rocks.
Okay.
Now, was
So
the absinthe green, or what color was the absinthe?
Greenish when I was dumping it
Greenish?
into the
All right.
shaker.
All right.
So this is.
So I was
McKinley's Delight.
thinking it would be a little more green because of the
No,
absinthe.
it's a Manhattan. It's the vermouth and
Okay.
the rye whiskey is going to make it darker.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's served up, and you can do it with a lemon or cherries, and of course, I like my cherries with my Manhattan.
Maraschino.
I got
Yeah.
2 cherries.
Everyone
Yeah, we
did.
got 2.
We're all special.
All right. Cheers.
So, cheers,
gentlemen.
guys.
All right.
So
there is a little absinthe kick in there.
that's
Yeah,
a little
I
absinthe.
do- I
Yeah.
would say it tastes a little licorice.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
But it
The
says
finish is very
like,
licorice.
the
yeah.
actual recipe is 2 ounces of rye whiskey, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, a teaspoon of cherry liqueur, and a dash of absinthe. How the hell do you dash
Dash.
absinthe?
You can't.
No.
You don't. So I kind of maybe put a little too much in here.
Or as Jamie would say, a little more for Santa Claus. right?
So yeah, if you'd like me to bring around the bottle of rye whiskey and you can dilute the absinthe with it. But yeah, I mean, he's a president from Ohio. He's most famous for all the Spanish-American War stuff. You know, the Cuban, the battle wars with Cuba and stuff like
all
that.
all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then a guy shot him for it, an anarchist.
Man,
What was this
oh,
guy's
man.
name? It's somewhere in my notes here. His name was Leon Kolgosh,
All right.
That sounds very
born in
Polish.
Detroit, Michigan.
It sounds
Born in
Polish.
Detroit or Hamtramck?
Born in Detroit. Oh, it does not say Hamtramck, but I would
I
be
would
surprised.
wager.
Well, Poletown was a whole part of Detroit.
Yeah,
was actually
yeah,
on the other
yeah,
side
yeah.
was all just as Polish. I mean, the
Yeah,
city was everything around that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
That I like
Canton,
that.
Ohio.
I like this guy. I like this cocktail.
Yeah, I would almost skip the absinthe in the future. I don't know if I need that, but I do like a dark Manhattan anyway.
Just let
yeah.
the
You know.
absinthe blow a kiss
Oh,
at
yeah.
the gin.
It's gonna do
Uh,
something. Oof.
So,
Ah.
so
Okay, so
and then,
there's
and then
William
George,
McKinley.
you had prepared somebody as well. Who
you
did
you found a president because we were talking. So the least drinky president was Abraham Lincoln, and the second place we're gonna tip our hats to him in a moment. Jimmy Carter,
Oh, Donald Trump didn't drink either.
Donald Trump. Yeah,
He lost a brother to alcoholism in the 70s, I believe.
Did
and,
he? He
he's
didn't drink?
He never drank.
really.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So he has Diet Coke. Yeah, on the
Yeah, he's
things
very
that
much
says
a
Diet Coke.
person. Yeah.
George Bush quit drinking when he got into office.
Well,
when he was nominated.
he
When
had his fun
he was nominated. So
with
George,
the younger W.
Yes.
The-
Yeah.
The old man still had a couple drinks.
yeah. So George Jr.
HW.
Yeah, he and Donald Trump. They listed it as Diet Coke was their
Right.
drink of
Yes.
choice.
And-
So we got Abraham Lincoln, Trump, and George once he was in office.
Yes.
Our least drinky guys. But there's one president that kept coming up on the list that was a rager, and I was like,
Well,
I
there's
was
a
what?
couple on there that were ragers.
Yeah.
Those Civil War era guys were nuts.
yeah.
I mean, they replaced their bloodstream. I mean, didn't one of them die of cirrhosis?
Yeah, one did. One
Cirrhosis of the liver. Like,
Cirrhosis of the liver.
yeah,
Somebody-
that was
let me-
one of the presidents.
Let me find him. Yeah. But George, who did you find?
Well, I was looking for something that a president that actually drank one of my favorite drinks,
Which is?
an old fashioned.
Oh,
Ah.
nice.
So, in looking at that, Harry Truman loved his old fashions,
Mm.
and he actually he actually yelled at the staff if they made him too weak.
Ah.
So sounds like a great drinker to me, right? So
it was simply for medicinal purposes.
yeah,
And eventually became
his morning routine really got me too, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna have to start doing this more often
Up.
because he had eggs and he had bacon and he had his old fashioned, did a brisk walk and came back and had a rub down. What?
And then nuke Japan.
Yeah. That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
but the truth behind it.
it is.
Yes.
It's very true.
I wonder if he had a couple old fashions before.
Well,
he
that's
dropped
where I was
that
getting
bomb.
at. I mean, if he didn't before, he definitely had one after.
Maybe,
After, yeah.
maybe he hit the wrong button.
No, I don't think it's that easy, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so that was and I also like mint juleps. You mentioned Roosevelt.
Roosevelt was a mint
He
julep
was
guy.
a mint julep
Yeah.
guy, and I actually toured the distillery for Makers and bought a bottle of their mint julep.
Yeah, it's
And
delicious.
It
It's
is.
good.
It
It's
is.
good. For
I
a
only
shortcut, it's
Crack-
good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's straight out of the bottle. You're not making your own,
Right.
but bought a bottle when I was down there, so I open it up every time we get ready for the race. You know?
So as I mentioned, Teddy Roosevelt's like one of my favorite presidents of all time, and that was my first thing. I went right to Teddy. I'm like, "There's no way I'm muddling mint at this podcast tonight.
Right,
I'm not
yeah.
grinding up food. I'm gonna find something else." So that was my
I
first.
would've
That was my
brought the
first idea.
Makers. I still got the bottle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you had that opportunity.
I was ill prepared. Next time
No,
I'm
not at
gonna
all.
be very
Not at all.
prepared.
That's okay. That's okay.
So it's Truman has a drink named after him too. It's the Missouri Mule is named after him.
The
The
Detroit, Mississippi River water and whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, is no resemblance to a regular mule. It's a little bit different. Only a part. It does have ginger beer in it, but it uses what's that? I just lost the recipe here. Bourbon, Applejack, which is apple brandy, and then Campari, Cointreau, and no garnish. So it's bourbon, Applejack, Campari, and Cointreau. That's sweet.
That is
That's
kind of makes my back teeth stand on
Yeah.
end all of a sudden.
yeah.
Does it smell like old hats?
It might.
Because another fun fact is Truman owned a hat store. He had a
Was he a
haberdashery.
haberdasher?
He was a haberdasher.
Haberdasher.
He was a Missouri haberdasher.
He always wore
before
hats.
he was encouraged to run for Senate. Yes.
Hmm.
I know some useless knowledge about presidents.
Yeah.
Even before we were looking up what they were drinking.
That is that is wonderfully useless.
This show is very educational.
Good.
Dude.
It's about goddamn time.
All right. 11 drunkest presidents in history.
Oh boy, here we go.
John Adams. He was tearing it up at age 15 when he was in Harvard, drinking beer for breakfast. But that was part
When
of
you're
the
at Harvard
routine.
at 15,
Yeah.
you can have some beer. Beer
Yeah.
back then wasn't like it is now, though.
Yeah.
No,
Well, it was safer to drink than water.
but yes, and
The
everyone
water
in the
was-
country always drank ciders because they had that fermenting, apple cider always in a bucket outside their house, and they had a ladle of it, and it was weak. It was like 3%, but it was the fermentation made it safer than water.
Martin Van Buren was he drank so much apparently he developed an Andre the Giant-esque tolerance to drink. He could drink for days and not show any signs of being intoxicated. So Van Buren, he was
same way.
he was quite the
Wow.
Harm me another.
Yeah.
in 1940, in the election in 1940, Henry Harrison's campaign painted him as an alcoholic, and it contributed to him.
So he's the one.
losing.
And was his quote like, "Once you're president, there's nothing left to do but drink." After you've been president.
So I was
And then he
looking.
just
I
drank
saw
himself to
that.
death.
Yeah. Franklin Pierce, he was a heck of a drinker.
Frank was a partier.
He might have been the most alcoholic president. He drank hard for his entire adult life. Kept going right through his presidency. When the Democratic Party decided to renominate Pierce, that Pierce was the one. He told reporters, "There's nothing left to do but get drunk."
That's what it was.
Pierce. That's
Well,
how
someone
what
was
else am I
Franklin
gonna do?
Pierce.
Yeah.
James Buchanan, he was quite the booze hound as well. He was an angry drunk. He was not a good one. He would get angry when the White House would only be stocked with small bottles of champagne. So every Sunday he'd go to the distillery and pick up 10-gallon jug of whiskey and drink cognac, like 2 bottles of alcohol every night. He would just pounded it. He was is he the one that died?
Well, I'm interested in like what Warren Harding and Calvin Coolidge and Herbert Hoover, the guys that were presidents during Prohibition, what they were known for dropping.
Didn't one
They didn't drink
one of
at
the
all.
first one of the
Yeah,
first
sure.
ladies actually got rid of it all. He had a good wine cellar. I gotta look that up. Though.
Yeah.
He had a good wine cellar and had some fine wines, and she destroyed them all, poured them down the drain.
Yeah. I forget which one that was. Ulysses S. Grant.
Well, Grant was a notorious drunk.
Yes. So he was a big drinking reputation.
Wasn't there like that joke, like whatever he's doing, send him more because he's winning?
Here's
Whatever he's drinking, send more.
a fun fact, right? On his deathbed, he passed out and he was fading out, and the doctors brought him back with some brandy. He got to live a few more hours because they
Clear.
revived him with some brandy.
Clear.
That's
Did they lose it like smelling
Oh,
salt under his
I
nose,
don't-
or they pour it down his
I
gullet?
don't
the
know.
brandy on a Saint Bernard. If they find you in Alaska and your last drink is brandy in a little wooden barrel on a Saint Bernard's collar.
What is it, Lassie?
So what is it in college? Is it the freshman 40? Is that what it is? It's the Chester after dinners every night. He gained like 40 pounds in office just from his
Yeah. Change. Thank you.
I went to Bozex today, and I went to the little deli, and I made.
Oh, did you get like a meatball back there?
Yeah, no, I got a little city chicken
Those
and
old
a
city
couple
chickens are good.
pierogies, and
We're going off. Now we're going off a tangent here because I love me some city pigeon.
yeah.
I'll do city chicken all day.
Oh,
But anyway,
yeah.
City pigeon. I've
That's
never
so-
heard
yeah,
that.
that's
Before.
what I did on Saturday. We did the punch key run, and then we drank our butts off, and then we went to Polonia and just destroyed city chicken. There was breading flying all over that table. It was nuts.
5 hours later.
Mhm. Yeah,
All right, here's a
do it all again tomorrow.
We're only on
Have
number
fun.
7 of our drunken presidents. Grover Cleveland was also quite the drunkard. He had a huge beer belly. He drank beer all
It
the
actually
time.
kept him alive, didn't it?
He was our
'Cause it
beer
was so
boy.
big.
Yeah,
He got shot in it.
Did he?
He was
Yep.
shot. Yeah, he was assassinated.
Yep. So
He had a really
He
corrupt
gl- he
surgeon. He
drank-
could have lived.
4 glasses of beer every day. It was so he
That's
could clear
what
his
came
head.
out when he got shot.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's when
Doesn't say
second
anything when they
breakfast
were
came to be.
Uh, Taft was a big fat
He's
guy.
another big boy.
He wasn't a huge drinker, but he was definitely the frat guy of the White House.
That was Teddy Roosevelt's hand-picked successor, and then he turned around and hated him within 2 years.
He was the
Jeez.
Bluto of presidents.
The
Oh, wow.
No one listening to this podcast is going to know what Pluto is.
Well, I'll just say one word: Popeye. All right?
that's the one they're not going to get.
Yeah.
But if it was Bluto from Animal House,
No,
maybe.
yeah. So,
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking
like-
about Bluto from Popeye.
Oh yeah. No, Bluto. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Roosevelt, of course, he was always pounding, kicking him back.
He was
He was
kicking back
always
himself,
drinking mass
so-
quantities of eggnog. He was big on the eggnog.
Whoa.
Kennedy, we're gonna get to Kennedy.
Yep.
He's in the list of our party boys. And George W. Bush, driving under the influence in the 70s, but he cut it off when he got into office. So
Good for him.
LBJ didn't
kudos.
make that list.
of drinkers, nope, the top 11
Wow.
drunkiest presidents.
He's on the list of. He had a drink of choice, but he was not. for some reason, I
He
don't
would drink
remember.
scotch, and from what I understand, he would then enjoy riding around his Texas ranch
Mhm.
at high rates of speed
Probably shooting at stuff, right?
out of a plastic cup.
Traveler.
Got a roadie.
Got a roadie. Taking a roadie. You know, with yeah, all right, I'll stop now. I'm talking about roadies, but yeah, it's jeez. Here, what's interesting, it's Obama, President Obama.
Uh-huh.
The interesting thing about him, they have him down as beer. A lot of the lists say, "Oh, Obama drank beer," and I think that's a little bit of a urban legend. I think that falls back to when he tried to he brought the cop and some other people together, and it's like, "Oh, let's play some basketball and talk and have a beer." I think that was the thing. But the interesting thing is that he was brewing beer at the White House. There was a special honey ale, White House honey ale, I think is what they called it. It was a White House. That's what they called it. I'm going to stick. I'll just say it as fact, and it's true. White House honey ale is what they called it, maybe. And the White House honey ale, but the honey was from the hives on the White House grounds.
Really?
And he brewed beer at the White House. I would love to try that. I would love to.
Wow.
you know, I don't think Trump kept that going, or Joe has it happening.
Get him
right?
on the next show.
But that just is fascinating to me because that sounds like something I don't like. Most microbrews, home brews, I usually turn my nose to them, but that one sounds kind of up my alley. Joe has a weird one. It's I found a list with Joe Biden's drink on it, and it was like some kind of creamsicle something. Did anybody see that?
I did not see that.
No.
Oh my god, it was it was
Creamsicle.
yeah, it was. Joe Biden he's got a sweet tooth, and he has like a crazy creamsicle flavored one. I don't know.
Interesting.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna dig into JFK.
You're gonna dig into
Yeah, go
JFK? I'm gonna
JFK.
find this
'Cause
creamsicle recipe.
We'll get to our tribute to Jimmy Carter here in
All
a
right.
moment, but I want to dig into JFK because he kind of was like the pinnacle of change between strategy and war. Because after World War II is where they really started to look at the science of everything, and JFK would actually have these cabinet meetings that often look like more like a modern tech startup than a 1960s boardroom. But when he was going through all this, the bar was always well stocked, and the drink that JFK really gravitated towards during these meetings was actually the Bloody Mary. Right, so that's what I'm kind of sipping on this evening in tribute to JFK here. But he is the he preferably considered Bloody Marys to be more of a conversational type of a drink, right? His predecessor had been a Scotchman, right? However, the story of the Bloody Mary, this is kind of where it gravitates towards, is it begins after that good old tale era in a bar, interwar Paris is where the Bloody Mary started, right after World War II. The expanding expat community meant there was actually a market for this American style type drink. And Harry referred, let's see, I'm looking for the name of the guy that started this. It was Fernand Pete Petoit, who tended
Say that 3 more times.
Yeah,
fast.
exactly.
No, thank you.
Fernand Pete
He
Petoit.
actually-
Fernand Pete Petoit. Fernand Pete
Petoit.
Petoit.
Petoit. He actually tended bar while barely out of his teens. And according to legend, Petit created the drink in Paris before crossing the pond to America in 1925. In the States, he actually continued to serve his new drink, naming it after a waitress of an old saloon called the Bloody Bucket. So Bloody Mary was the name of the waitress. So
I was just gonna say, I hope it wasn't Bloody Bucket.
but Petoit actually became to be a very well-known bartending icon, serving every president from 1934 to 1972, except for LBJ.
I wonder if they made the Bloody Marys for breakfast, and put when you get all the stuff in it, there's more stuff than Bloody Mary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
used to do that at Stash. You get like a pretzel, a pizza roll, all kind of stuff. Yeah.
And we mentioned it was more, JFK wasn't a big drinker, but he did gravitate towards Bloody Marys, right? And daiquiris. But then also to Heineken. He liked the
daiquiris,
influx.
that's
right?
being stationed in the
Daiquiris-
Pacific, right?
Right.
Daiquiri's more of like
rum
of
drinks.
a woman drink, right? But he was a womanizer, and he had to have daiquiris for them.
And he
so-
liked blondes. So
Exactly.
He's a girl drink drunk. He's like me. Put an umbrella in it. I'm happy as a clam.
Yeah.
man.
Give me that sticky drink in a porcelain bathtub or something.
I am
don't
a
know.
girl drink drunk.
Yeah, I love me
That
some
is-
tiki bar stuff.
A girl drink drunk.
Yeah, that's it. That's a Kids in the Hall sketch. Dave Foley. He's like in the closet with a blender at work, putting umbrellas in a cocktail at work. He's a girl drink
And
drunk.
George, it was Hoover's wife that dumped out his.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
Hoover's wife who dumped it all out. She was a teetotaler, as they called them back then.
Mhm.
You know, the
Teetotaler.
prohibition people were teetotalers.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I'm just sipping on a Bloody. I actually picked up, I did Tito's because they didn't have Zims, unfortunately. Couldn't find Zims, but I grabbed a bottle of Tito's and the McClure's Bloody Mary mix.
Just outside Hamtramck.
Just outside.
Pickle heavy.
Hamtramck. Yeah, it is
'Cause
pickle heavy.
They're a pickle joint, McClure's. They do McClure's pickles, and they started the Bloody Mary mix. I'm a Zing Zang guy myself when it comes to Bloody Mary
and
mix.
you had actually a very good point with the Zing Zang.
Well, it comes in cans now. You can get it in like 4-packs, so you don't have to open a bottle and let it sit in your refrigerator for 6 months as an open bottle of half-drank Bloody Mary mix. You can crack them in serving size. Great.
Oh,
Yeah, I want McClure's.
Pro tip
because-
for
pro tip.
drinkers out
tip.
there. Pro tip.
Yeah, pro tip.
Zing Zang cans,
But
because everybody likes cans.
I do enjoy Bloody Mary, but I have to be very careful because it gets hard to.
Well, apparently they're not just for breakfast anymore.
They're really not. But at my age, I hate to say that it comes back up, at like 3
Called
o'clock in
acid
the morning.
reflux.
Acid
Yes,
reflux. Yeah.
Get that
Get 'em with
Prilosec.
Get him with a whole fish at lunch, stuck inside it.
So
Only during Lent in the Catholic neighborhoods
On Fridays.
on Fridays.
On Fridays.
So in tribute to Grant, George and I were enjoying some wild turkey because he was like all about the old Overholt.
Dude, you went Wild Turkey
Um,
101. Regular
then-
Wild Turkey is my favorite bourbon of all time.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah, I love it.
yeah,
That is
yeah,
the bang for your buck best bourbon you can buy.
yeah. I
And,
went with the 101.
101
I just,
is a
you because it
different experience.
it's good. A little.
Oh, it doesn't suck. It's just it makes the night go faster and faster.
all right.
That
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
Augie. That much right there.
Yep. Just a splash. Just
Oh, okay.
just a. I'm not a big.
Well,
Everybody's
Peanut butter
favorite
fan.
peanut butter.
on the list, it mentions that Jimmy Carter was not a drinker.
No, white
Right.
wine. White wine.
White
on the
wine
one
was
list
his
I
occasional
saw,
thing.
yep.
So we get these across the table here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
So, Jimmy Carter is one of those presidents that history is going to treat better and better. When like he came into office as the exact opposite of Richard Nixon, right? They're going to hire a country guy who was a peanut farmer.
Mhm.
He was
Yeah.
a peanut farmer.
Yeah.
And then of course he'll always be, remembered for the failed Iran hostage situation with Eagle Claw. They just destroyed. It was done. There's
Mhm.
no getting back from that.
Mhm.
And Reagan and those guys set him up, and they made sure that no one was released until after the election. So it's kind of awful. But he became a great humanitarian. He's done a ton of charity work and all this
Yes.
Habitat for Humanity stuff.
Yep.
And
Yep.
history is going to say he wasn't a great president. And honestly, I still hold he should never have boycotted the Olympics. I'd always believe that that's a horrible thing to do to a bunch of young people that work their asses off. But I think in the last 60 years since then, I think, that was 1980, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
been a long time. And but
and you
he's
gotta
done a
remember-
lot since then. So
In the economy then it was not in the best shape because you had mortgage rates in the 20%, CD
Oh, it's
rates,
nuts.
it was out of control.
So, in honor of the peanut farmer, I
I-
did grab a bottle of Screwball peanut whiskey, and to the old man at 98, still kicking for the next couple days. Hopefully, we get this in before we lose him.
Cheers.
Ah,
So,
cheers.
cheers to President Jimmy Carter, the oldest living president ever.
Interesting fact about him
like
as
that
well,
stuff.
because he drank the white wine.
Yeah.
When he was taking care of all of his powerful Soviet leaders and summits and working with them, he made sure that he had that little glass of white wine, so he didn't have to be he had to avoid the powerful Russian vodkas and didn't want to get too drunk, so little glass of white wine.
And that was a thing, man. Those Russian leaders would just sit down with some cured sausage and a chunk of cheese and a bottle of vodka,
Vodka.
and they'd sit there and cut it and eat it and drink.
Yeah.
Right.
Shot after shot. They don't sip. They didn't have a cocktail. They just went bang,
Right.
bang.
Mm-hmm. I got friends that just drink it straight. They could go through a
See,
gallon a night.
And that's something that we do that's something I do on the weekends. When we have things
Go
to
through
do
a gallon
around-
of vodka. a night?
No, not a gallon of vodka,
God
but
damn.
we do shot. We call it shots and jobs, right?
There you go.
So we'll just do a shot of vodka and we'll go and do a job, a chore, or what have you, and then we'll come back. We'll do it. We get through the entire house and an entire bottle of vodka.
Yeah. And by the time you're done, you don't have any clothes on, and it's just and it's
You-
you didn't even realize it.
You don't know me.
You didn't even realize it, did you?
Maybe we know you a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
So I picked this one up.
What's this?
What do you got there, Jamie?
This is Old Hickory. It's
Oh.
got Jackson's picture on the bottle.
A very
It's very much
polarizing
the-
president.
Yeah.
Was it 20? Was it $20?
In that neighborhood? Yeah. It
No,
was,
but he stole it.
No, our friend. I went over to A&B Liquor, and I was talking to Evan today up at A&B Liquor, and he wants to come on the show, and absolutely, we're gonna have Evan.
Well, I went and saw Big Tony today for the absinthe.
Oh my
at
God!
the
You
Wine
guys
Garden.
made
Yeah.
it around
Big
the entire
Tony.
town.
Yeah.
Big
Isn't it
Tony.
Little Tony?
It's
No,
Big
it's Big
Tony.
Tony. It's Big Tony.
Big George
Tony.
knows
Do
Tony
you
too.
something? No, I don't know.
No, he's like
He's Big Tony.
it's
Big
Big Tony.
Tony.
He's got a beer named after
I
him.
told
for
him
crying out
exactly
loud.
what I was doing and where I was going today, and he's
Ah.
like, "All right, this is the absinthe you want for this drink." And we walked to the store. I talked to him about a half hour. Yeah.
Oh
it's
my
good.
god!
But anyway, the Old Hickory.
So the Old Hickory, yeah. So
And your buddy at A&B, nice guy. I met him at the whiskey tasting.
yes,
right?
Evan.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good.
he's coming on the show. We're gonna do an episode with
good, good.
Evan very very soon.
Thanks, Wayne.
But yeah, he's the Tennessee Plantation, the Hermitage. there's rumored that there was a distillery on the Hermitage that burnt down in the 1800s. And so this is new and has absolutely nothing to do with the Hermitage or Jackson.
Well, thanks for that opening story.
Yeah. So, but no, that's how they pitch it. That's how they pitch the whole Hermitage story. And there was like a special stamped in honor of the Hermitage stamp. There was a postage stamp honoring it. But yeah, so this is it's out of Indiana, so it's distilled in Indiana and bottled in Ohio.
Interesting.
So yep, and it's but I wanted to give this the Old Hickory a try. Just do a shot of it, or if anybody wants to do it on ice or whatever, you can do it however you'd like. But I was gonna crack this bad boy.
Clear ice here.
And I got the Mongo clear ice. All right, so here's a little Old Hickory. We had a couple bottle pops tonight. This is the first one we're doing. It. Here comes the bottle. Here it is.
And
there you go.
The other one was better.
You couldn't really hear the crack of the Dr. McGillicuddy's cherry liqueur. It doesn't really translate as well on the podcast.
No. So yeah,
you start doing those commercials. Where
Old Hickory.
You crack the bottle. And...
Maybe we let it breathe a little bit. You know what?
You need a bigger glass there, Matt.
The screwball, more caramel and buttery than peanut butter to me, I think.
I'm not a big fan. That's why I bought the smaller bottle.
Yeah,
I'll get through.
I shot it just to get through it.
Yeah, no, it's not
Sometimes
as
you gotta rip the Band-Aid off, man.
I don't like I like peanuts. I'll eat dry roasted peanuts but like peanuts in candy bars or peanuts in like peanut M&Ms. No.
I thought I was gonna say peanuts in the shit. I thought he was for sure.
Oh
yeah.
No, I'm glad he enunciated peanuts.
Yeah, and I'm not down with them. And then it's like peanut butter. And my Colleen, she's like, "Oh, you eat peanuts? It's the same thing." I go, "No, it's different. It's totally different." Or at least in my head, it is. I don't know.
That's really different. The Old Hickory.
The Old Hickory? Yeah, I gotta give that a whirl.
A whirl?
You just gotta put that grape soda with that.
Did you ask me to grab you a glass, Jamie?
The grape soda with the screwball. Oh yeah, the peanut butter and jelly. Yeah. Well, it's what's the purple?
It's the only way
liquor?
I can get it down.
What's the purple liqueur?
Grandma, not Grandma.
Malort? What?
No, don't go Malort on us. I'll bring the Malort rep in here. Don't make me do that to you.
Purple liqueur.
Isn't it?
It's not Grand
sure,
Marnier.
No,
is it?
I'm sure someone's texting
Oh,
it to
it's
me right
Chambord.
Now. Chambord. That's
Chambord.
it. Chambord. So Chambord and Screwball is the peanut butter and jelly shot.
Oh, that brings back bad
Or
memories.
razzmatazz if people have a raspberry.
Chambord. You're getting into the girl drink drunk territory there.
Then I was girl drink drunk one night because I couldn't find any other liquor, and we were at a party, and I said, "Hey, let's beer bong that."
Ooh,
ouch.
Yeah.
No,
that was my introduction to Chambord.
No, I'm a girl drink like the Cosmopolitan.
So
fire me up a
you don't
Cosmopolitan
have
from
to
Chambord.
be like sexist about this. It's not a girl drink. It's just a sweet, sticky drink.
Listen, give me a strawberry daiquiri.
I like
anytime.
I like the term girl drink.
Or you can mix all of those together in
being
one.
politically correct. I'm going
If you're gonna give me a strawberry daiquiri, you just make sure I'm on a beach somewhere warm. All right. I
don't like strawberries.
See, that's
there's
where,
so many
that's
other
where
options.
you're wrong.
I'll be okay.
That's where you're wrong.
There are plenty of other. I'm wrong all the time, but there's plenty of other options that I don't need a strawberry daiquiri.
Fine.
I'll go colada.
I was
colada
going to say
deep.
pina colada.
Yeah, I'll go colada deep. Yeah. I'll drink that suntan lotion on the beach all day.
Did you say colada deep?
Colada deep.
All right.
It's a girl I dated in college. Better at Deja Vu, just outside of East Lansing.
That's a sticky situation.
Yeah.
Full circle. There it is.
And there goes my political career.
Free speech is a bitch, ain't it?
They can't send me to jail for it, but they can fire me for it.
I think your whole parade of death on Facebook is more damaging to your political career than anything we do.
Hey, is when anybody in Clawson didn't know what they were getting into when they hired me.
I know. It's like I teach high school. People are like, and they're like, "What? You do what?" And I'm like, "They hired me like this."
Yes.
It's like they hired me because I was on the radio.
Yeah, you get all of this.
You know,
when you
and
hire me.
it's like
You get the
it's like
personality, the
if you didn't do your due diligence, it's like this is nothing new. I've been doing this very much in the public eye for a long time.
Okay, so this might be a little morbid, but one thing I do look forward to is if a celebrity does pass away,
oh boy.
Yeah.
I do look forward to seeing who you're going to put
Post.
up on your Facebook. page,
Exactly.
right?
They're
However,
doppelganger.
this past week, you posted the actual picture of the person who passed.
No, I didn't.
No,
That wasn't.
Nope.
It wasn't.
That was Sam Waterson.
No, I'm not talking Sam. I'm talking
the
Raquel
woman.
Welch.
Yeah, no, that was
No.
That
was
wasn't
Anne
Raquel-
Margaret.
Was that Anne Margaret?
Anne
No.
Margaret.
See, it looked like Raquel.
Looking
Welch.
at
Anne
it was
Margaret.
Smoke Show Anne Margaret, but it was
Anne
yeah,
Margaret.
yeah.
I thought it was Raquel Welch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
the number one rule, there's two rules. The first rule is you can't use anyone who you actually know because that creates anxiety and panic. And a buddy of mine did that. He put up a picture of his friend dressed as this for Halloween,
Oh my god!
and people lost their shit. And I'm like, Dan, you can't. That's number one rule. You cannot use real
Dave's
people
okay. Dave's
because
okay.
all you're gonna do is get flooded with is Jill dead. You know, and it's like no, there was supposed to be someone dressed like Jill in a
yeah.
someone in a Princess Leia outfit when
Yeah,
Carrie
yeah.
Fisher died.
Oh,
Alright,
And
yeah.
they put
fair
a
enough.
RIP, and I'm like, no,
Oh.
Stephanie's okay. You know?
Yeah.
See, I thought you were actually
You
paying
can't do that.
homage to the amazing Raquel Welch by putting
But
her
I-
actual photo up
I
there.
am. There's a couple people that are in the
Was
bucket
it-
that I'm going to put their real picture on, and I know
Yeah,
who
yeah.
they are. I'm going to do it. I've done it once already.
Was it Barbara Walters? It was somebody.
No.
It was somebody recent. Somebody recent. You put the real picture up.
I can't remember.
It wasn't Barbara Walters.
No,
It
I don't
wasn't
think it
Baba
was Barbara.
Wawa?
I don't think it was
Baba
Barbara.
Wawa?
There was
No.
somebody. There was somebody else who
I
passed.
feel like it was like David Bowie. I think I did the right picture,
yeah.
Okay,
and
that's absolutely fair.
well, people were like texting me, "Don't do it."
Don't
like,
you?
"All right."
All right.
Don't disrespect
Right,
Bowie.
right. Don't.
Hey, it
don't
all
do
started with my buddy Madigan. One of the Madigan, but Patrick Madigan put up a picture of Oprah when Whitney Houston died, and that's the thing that
Exactly.
started the
Wow.
whole thing.
Exactly.
Started the whole thing. That was 10 years ago, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
My favorite part of that.
and I ran
though-
with it.
I,
Made it my own.
Exactly.
and I love that you do that and you put up the wrong picture. But then I like that how like people go, oh yeah, that's so sad, but Augie, it's not
Still.
the.
That's not the
it's
right
still.
person.
It's like, are you new?
Still,
Are you just like?
still. There's a
That's
whole
like
group
my,
of
that's my
friends.
second favorite part.
I got a whole group of friends that just have all these fishing gifts
Yes.
that they throw up the fish on, got one on the hook, and how do they not know? And are you new? And I just
Yeah.
let everyone else do the dirty work for
Oh,
me. I
yeah.
just don't even
But
bother.
the Sam Waterston picture, that was spot on. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I did it years ago, and my own sister started screaming, "I can't believe so and so's dead." I'm like, no, that person's still alive. Oh, you jerk!
Oh.
So, but yeah,
So
I'll tell you who it is. I'll tell you who I'm
Mm.
going to put the real picture up
Oh.
now.
Yeah, please.
It's going to be Dick Van Dyke,
Oh, absolutely.
who I have an autographed
He
picture
was
of
just-
on my wall.
he-
Who's one of my favorite people of
All
all
right.
time.
Spoiler.
I'll use the real
Spoiler.
picture.
Spoiler alerts.
I
'Cause,
saw it.
yeah, Mass Singer.
Yeah.
The first person to go was the gnome. It was Dick Van Dyke.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spoiler.
You
It was-
did,
Well, it
It
happened
was
already.
so awesome.
you did put Raquel Welch.
No, it's Anne Margaret.
I
That's
was.
Anne
I'm
Margaret.
Yeah.
right there with them. I'm
Trust
right
me.
there. I'm
Trust
right there
me.
with you.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
That's the grumpy old man girlfriend.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep.
don't come on now.
See, it's deceiving, right?
It was.
It is,
that
it's
was
close.
that was
That's
the
the
Because
perfect picture.
I
though.
was with you. I'm like, he did. I know
That
he
was
did.
That was
Yeah.
the perfect picture
Oh,
to
yeah.
fool to get people to go.
Oh,
what is
yeah.
it?
Yeah. I love your Madonna one though.
Oh,
Why are we all hating on Madonna?
was it the
Jan-
mask?
and I put up a picture of Janice from the Muppets.
Muppets.
Oh.
Why y'all hating on Madonna?
Oh, why you gotta do that?
Oh, somebody put a picture of it's like Cher and Madonna going on a world tour.
Oh,
It was
my
a picture
God.
of Cher from the movie The Mask with the
Oh
kid
yeah,
with the big.
Eric Stoltz and makeup. Yes.
jeez.
That was
Oh my
brutal,
God! I'm like,
brutal.
oh, but actually, kind of close.
It's a fine line with me on what I want Madonna's doing. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of right there with what Michael Jackson did. You know, you're an artist. This is how you want to look, and you're making your face as part of your canvas. And this is what you want to do, and you know, people shouldn't be making fun of her. I just thought she looked great before she did it. She was still
Yeah.
looking good. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, but it's you can't be immune. You can't
Yeah.
say, I don't know. Anyway, we've gone off the rails.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
gonna
What's
say.
the president drinking now? And yeah,
Well, we didn't go talk about Tricky Dick.
What did
Yeah.
Dick
What was
drink?
what
He
was,
loved
What
it.
did he
He
choose to
loved it.
drink when he
Chateau Lafitte Rothschild,
Oh,
and
What's her name?
he loved drinking it. Well, he would serve mediocre red wine to guests that came to the White House, and he would wrap towels around to stop them from seeing the label and trick them. So yeah, tricky Dick. He would trick them into thinking they were drinking something different.
$5 Chuck for
This
the
is
guests.
not a drink.
Boone's Farm.
It's
Boone's Farm. As long as it was in a paper bag, you're good.
see a lot of them did Scotch, and
Yeah.
then there was like a couple of sites that I found that put Kennedy as a Scotch guy.
Well, there's a lot
And
of
that's like-
wine that I've
yeah.
never
Yeah.
heard of these types of wine juice before. Like certain regions of Turkey,
Mm.
certain regions of Spain that they have a certain kind of wine that must have been a popular thing in 1890,
Mm.
but you don't see anymore.
Mm.
Saw a lot of wine drinkers.
Truman was a bourbon guy.
There's a lot of Scotch drinks. A lot of Scotch presidents.
Scotch.
Scotch. I
Dirt
like
in my
Scotch.
belly.
See-
Obama has that great picture, that legendary picture. That'll be the iconic Obama picture of him holding up that big glass of beer.
Yeah.
And he's always been a beer guy.
Was it a
Yeah.
beer or an IPA?
It's probably an IPA. It was the head of. It was right in the prime of the hipster IPA phase.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There's a couple pictures of him with like pints of Guinness.
It still counts.
Yep.
It's still beer.
Yeah. Oh, the IPAs?
Yes, they're
or-
still beer. I mean, I think they're disgusting, but they're still beer.
Yeah.
Nothing,
Yeah, that
nothing
would
better
be-
than a raggedy ass.
That would be this picture, everybody. It's that one.
Which one?
It's this one, Jamie. I'm not sure if you've seen this one or not, but
Yeah.
that's him holding that Guinness.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple.
Yeah. No, I've seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
And then-
there's
and
some
then
other
Bill
ones.
Clinton
He's
holds
less angry at the Guinness.
It's
Why is he so angry
It's
at the
Obama
Guinness?
with a glass of beer and Bill Clinton with a cheeseburger.
Or was it that one?
McDonald's. That's a good one.
That's a pretty good pick too.
That's a good picture. So
All right, so there you go, George. Thanks for coming out, man.
I appreciate the invite.
It was just a little bit of a hodgepodge, but I just thought
Okay.
I'd just do a little presidential shenanigans.
I figured I'd drop $80 on booze the night before Punch Day and shake up some shit that you're not going to like.
Jamie, yeah.
I like
the McKinley drank and
And Jamie says
1901.
hodgepodge like it's a bad thing there because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of drink on the table itself.
Oh no,
So
no,
this
I'm
is-
digging it. I'm digging it.
This has been fun.
George,
Yeah.
so on the Man Cave, we usually like interview people, talk to people, and get their story. And I just go, tell me about your childhood. But I've known you since you were a baby. So,
I was going to say, yeah, that's
I've
right.
known you forever. But you love bourbon, and I was like, oh, I want to be on the Man Cave because it's like I love bourbon. I know you're a big fan of Maker's Mark.
Yes.
So what's your absolute favorite bourbon? What's your absolute fave?
Well, I love Woodford.
Okay.
Yes.
The double oaked or just a
That's what I
straight
was
up?
gonna ask.
Just
Or...
the straight up regular
Woodford?
Woodford.
It's lovely.
Yes.
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 That's the one. That's the go-to.
That's the go-to for
Is
me.
that the neat go-to, or is that the with an ice
neat?
cube?
No ice cube.
So
neat.
at home,
Good
you do
man.
it. Do you do it in a Glencairn or just in a rocks glass? But
Just in a
neat,
rocks
or-
glass.
Okay.
I you know what? I thought we would do a show like sitting in the hot tub at your place, smoking cigars and drinking.
That's
That's
coming.
where I usually have it. I have the
Yeah.
hot tub in the
I
backyard.
do not
and-
want to see you guys in the hot tub naked drinking.
Who
Come
said
on.
naked? Who
Nobody
said
said
naked?
naked.
Yeah, but
It's
if
gonna look
that's
like
what
that.
you
Wow,
want.
you took a left turn real quick.
It's gonna look like that. Anyway,
Look,
I mean, just because the rolls go over my speedo and it looks like I'm naked,
listen,
that
we'll
doesn't mean
Speedo?
I'm naked.
Is that what
wear our
that was?
tuxedos.
Yeah.
We're all
Banana
we're wedding
hammock.
DJs here. We'll wear a tuxedo into the hot tub.
Yeah.
If you're- that makes you more comfortable.
There you go.
I
There you go.
got a couple I could toast by doing that. I just
Now my goal, challenge accepted. I need to go find a tuxedo speedo.
yeah, well, I'll just come in there and I'll come boil my sausage with you guys while we all drink whiskey.
that's what Matt says. It's like, hey, we're gonna go hot tub. He's like, oh, what? You want me to come over and take a bath with you?
Pretty much it is. Yeah.
Well, we won't have to have the cameras for that episode. Will
Oh, yeah, we
No.
will.
We will.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, man, absolutely.
We need that.
We would say, "Hey, welcome to the Man Cave, Old Man Soup. Here we go."
I tell you what, though, one of my favorites when I go down to
Ball
the
sack soup.
one of my favorites going down to the Bourbon Trail is I went to some distilleries throughout the years, and the last one I went to, they took the actual yeast that they make the bourbon with, and they Jim Beam, and they have this restaurant that they built right next to the distillery,
Right.
and they have a homemade pizza oven, stone pizza oven,
With the yeast.
and they use the yeast in the dough,
Oh,
and it was the best pizza I have ever had.
Damn it. Now I got to go find it and try it.
Yes.
I know.
That's
We got some friends in Kentucky, the Kentucky Bourbon Boys, and they do curated tours. And we got an open invitation to go down and just run shenanigans with them, but we haven't been able to. It's there's always something,
Have
and
done-
that's why I'm so glad you're here, because it's always like, oh, we got to do this. Oh yeah, you got to come on the show. You got to hang out, and it's always something. And it's like
Yes.
George, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah, it's good to see you, buddy.
Thank
and
you.
that's
Good
the
to see you. Good
purpose
to have
of
a
the-
drink with you again.
I've
and
It's
been
been a
the
minute.
small world
just
thing, too.
Snapchatting and
Yeah.
Facebook, and
We
it's
keep in
good to be-
touch,
yeah.
but we just haven't been in the same room in a while. So.
Yeah, it's nice. So how do you guys go back? You said forever and a
St. Clair
day.
Shores,
Yeah.
old, just
Met him in-
around town.
yeah.
Okay.
Matt
Early
Ahern
90s,
is
yeah.
probably the
Ahern's,
working
yeah.
on Matt's campaigns and just
Oh,
things
that
like that.
was one of them.
Yeah.
Right,
one
right,
of them.
right,
Local owns Wally's Frozen Custard.
right
Yes.
next to the wine garden.
Yeah, right next to Wine Garden.
Yeah.
Right.
Right next to the
My
wine-
goodness.
So
Can't
there
go
you
to one without going to the other.
Oh nope, it's full circle.
Mhm.
All right, guys. So I don't know anything else about the presidents. We did. I think we covered everything. We
No,
did,
just Punchki Day tomorrow.
that's Punchki Day. Yeah. So anyway, but everybody, thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all those podcast things, and all the podcast. You got
I got nothing.
wrap it up for me, man.
Wrap it up. So you just did, didn't you?
Talk about how there's a fine line between
was
where
gonna
your
say,
podcast goes off the rails. Hey,
Wrap it up. Wrap it up.
everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Man Cave Happy Hour. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, George. Elite Wedding Company Entertainment. That's the full name.
That's
the
the full
full
name.
name. Full name. Use them for all your wedding needs, and they'll probably hire Jamie through you.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
I was,
August.
I was hoping Matt, you would go cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Cheers.
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 Ah,
Cheers.
Yes.
Good night, folks.
My God, that was a close one.
Someone has